All right, let's get started by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, whose true name in Hebrew would be Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and the Holy Spirit, who taught us His truth. Honors to the brethren that's laboring, doing the work to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, which will be 1/3 of us Israelites, according to the scriptures, who will be the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, who will be seeking their salvation by returning back to the Most High, by hearing and believing on His word. So we back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Hey, this lesson is probably going to be titled Off the Grid Living. And I might mention something about fire and coals, etc. But yeah, and I'm going to show some more stuff of my trip in Mexico, which I've been a few times, but this video here was actually when I went 2 years ago. Now, when I actually recorded this video, I didn't intend to make a lesson out of it. So I'm going to just be doing some random babbling. Never mind me. I'm going to make a few pointers though. But we're just going to play this real quick. We're going to get into it. Now, what we're looking at is a stove. And like I mentioned in my lesson last night, when I went to Mexico, we in the heart of Mexico. We off the grid. It ain't no plumbing system. You know what I'm saying? And this is the oven. It's a cement block sitting on more cement blocks with 2 bricks with a metal grate, with the fire underneath. And since we off the grid living, this ain't your typical kitchen. This is just a hut, that's outside. But we gonna play this real quick, and then we gonna talk about a few things. Off the grid living, fire and coal. So the process to make corn tortillas, I think the corn dry out. Then you slow boil it for I don't know how long, and then you mush it up. And the store's ripping people off. You don't need no charcoal. You get a handful of sticks, these sticks will burn all day. Just to repeat, you don't need no charcoal. You don't need no generator to cook, to heat up water. You don't need charcoal. You don't need a generator. Because it's fire stove or whatever you want to call it. It be on all day. So whenever you want to throw some food on it, it's already hot. And sticks cost nothing. Go in the backyard and grab it. Esau charging people an arm and a leg to buy all this charcoal, which I was one of them. Before I went to Mexico, I stocked up on a bunch of charcoal, which is a ripoff, because sticks work better than charcoal. And I got another video after this. We're going to show you what charcoal actually is, because we know our people never thought to question that. What actually is charcoal? Where do it come from? How is it made? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to let this go. So I ain't never grilling with charcoal again. That junk a ripoff. And you're in a generator. Esau tell you need to get a generator so you can be able to wash clothes, wash dishes, cook, heat up water. No, you don't need that to heat up no water or to cook. But hold on. You could definitely stuff a lot more under here. Then it's stuff to be hot. All right, so I'm gonna just pause it right there while we talk about a few things. So we're gonna go to this next video clip real quick. I found it on YouTube, and you see it's how to make charcoal. Now let's see how charcoal is made and what it actually comes from.
Charcoal
comes from sticks and logs.
How to make
Nah, that's how you make charcoal. So it's a ripoff, going to the store, buying bags and bags of charcoal to grill. You can literally throw sticks in there and they're going to burn way longer. Because again, what is charcoal? Charcoal is wood, sticks, logs that's already pre burned. And since it's already pre burned, when we get it at the store, again, it's already pre burned. So what? The charcoal at the store gonna last you, 2 to 4 hours. Well, if you start fresh, with sticks, branches, dried up pieces of logs and parts from a tree, since it's not pre-burned, this burns way longer. By the time you get it at a store, it's already halfway burnt out. So Esau is the ultimate scammer and a thief. That's all charcoal is. It's pre-burned wood. And when it's pre-burned like this, you can go light a fire and it spreads more quickly as opposed to using fresh sticks. These ain't fresh sticks. They've been sitting out in the sun drying out. So they burn and spread fire pretty quickly. But if you take fresh sticks and branches from a tree, you know, since it's from a live tree, there's still moisture in it. So that might burn a little slower because you got to burn that moisture out. But if you say you got sticks sitting in the garage, just, drying out, when you want to go to grill, either, to cook food or to boil some water, the sticks are already pre-dried out, so they'll burn relatively quickly. And since it's not already pre-burned, like the mess you buy in the stove, this will burn a lot longer. Because I was wondering, how does the fire burn for so long out there in Mexico? Well, it's because they're not using charcoal, something that's already halfway burnt out. They starting fresh with dried out pieces of wood. And that's all charcoal is. It's a ripoff. So, in the power outage, you gotta cook some food. Do you want to make some heat? Don't waste no money on no charcoal. It's a ripoff. And even a generator. That's madness. So yeah, this is how we heat, food and water in Mexico. Is literally burning pieces of wood, that's already been dried out for some time. All right, so I guess we'll get into these precepts real quick. So we're going to hit 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that dwell in the latter time, because they have walked in great pride. Now let me read this over. I butchered it. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So yeah, great miseries is coming to the earth. But the greatest of those miseries gonna happen right here in America, because this is a place in the earth with the greatest pride. Proud to be an American. Pride Month. But what's going to contribute to these great miseries? Well, we can get more of that in Revelation 18:7. How much she have glorified herself. Who is this her? Lady Liberty America, the Lady of Kingdoms, the great whore. So again, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. This meaning what? First world privileges, luxuries, conveniences, first world living, all of that. So again, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. So these Americans think that this place will never fall. They think this gonna be, the Lady of Kingdoms forever. They think America is going to be a first world country forever. So that's the great miseries. The Lord's going to give this place just as much torment and sorrow for all the goodness, all the glory that she's had. But the great miseries. So if you take the conveniences, the luxuries, the first world privileges of America, and you take it back, that's how you get the miseries. So, for example, what's the convenience here? Wi-Fi internet, DoorDash, social media. So when we go back to 2 Ezra 8 and 50, when it says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that dwell in the latter time, because they walked in great pride." So the Lord ain't got to do too much to torment you American people. For example, again, the internet. If you take away the internet, that's going to be a great misery to the people. Social media, you take that away, that's going to be a great misery to the people. What else not important, that Americans love? Let me see. Um, Having a cell phone, electronic devices. You take that away, that's going to be great misery to the people. So all the Lord got to do is to cause misery here in America is take away all your first world privileges. And this is the part about Americans and how weak they are. The internet, electronic devices, that stuff ain't necessary for life. Again, that stuff ain't necessary for life. Yet, when the Lord pull it back, it's going to cause great misery to the people. So if the things that's not necessary for life can cause you great misery, how much more would that misery be when the Lord take away the stuff that you actually need for life? So if you're going to be miserable without the internet, without your electrical devices, not being able to go to work, how much more miserable are you going to be when there's no food and water? So yeah, people buck up when the internet go out, when the phones ain't working. What they gonna do when there ain't no food in the stores? So yeah, that's gonna cause great misery, great torment and sorrow here in the land of America and throughout the earth. Now we're gonna jump to the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 39, verse 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. So these are all the things that a man would need in his life. No internet, no electrical devices, no generator, no car, no social media. That stuff is not necessary for a man's life. But you see, two of the first things, it said water and fire. And that's the whole reason why I went and made
You mushed it up.
a lesson on how you can light a fire without a generator and without wasting your money buying all that charcoal in the store. And mentioned that sticks, burn way longer than charcoal. Because charcoal ain't nothing but burnt out sticks and pieces of wood anyway that's already been pre-burned. Yeah, because fire can do great things in a man's life. It can cook food. It could warm you up. It could heat up water. So there's many uses for fire. But this stuff is what's actually going to cause great misery. Yeah, the internet, no phone, no electrical devices, no social media, no video games. That's going to cause great misery to the people. But when you take away the water, the fire, the food, the clothing, that's what's going to cause the greatest misery, because it's the lack of this stuff here that'll actually kill you. Then you even see water. People take water all the way for granted. They use water for everything else except what the Lord intended water to be used for. Water should be used for drinking and bathing. People doing everything else with the water, pouring it out, drinking soda and pop. They having pool parties. They having water fights. Not that there's nothing wrong with none of that stuff. And people washing clothes and washing dishes. You gotta wash your stuff, but when the power go out, when the water go out, it's really gonna be people upset that they can't do laundry. Remember on the movie Leave the World Behind, when everything had crashed, they was in there actually washing dishes. So yeah, water, fire, those are the principal things that we need in our life. Now check this out. I got this today, an emergency notice about the water in the city of Crum. So let's check this out. All right. Due to emergency water main repair and loss of water pressure, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, City of Crum, to notify all customers to boil their water prior to consumption. Washing hands, face, brushing teeth, drinking, etc. Children, seniors, and persons with weakened immune systems are particularly vulnerable to harmful bacteria. And all customers should follow these directions to ensure destruction of all harmful bacteria and other microbes. Water for drinking, cooking, and ice making should be boiled and cooled prior to use for drinking. Water or human consumption purposes. The water should be brought to a vigorous rolling boil and then boil for 2 minutes. So pretty much, they saying, this tap water, which is a first world privileges. Take away the tap water, people gonna lose it. And that's a first world privileges because we don't got tap water in Mexico. Not the same that is, through the plumbing system here. They got running water, but it's different. But here, they want us to boil the water to avoid, harmful bacteria and microbes. Well, it's gonna be people thinking, let's say the power went out, because you're gonna have all of this going on at the same time. You're gonna have no running water, or your water is gonna be highly contaminated. And they're gonna say, well, boil the water. Well, what if the lights go out? Because that's gonna happen too, in conjunction with the water being contaminated. So how do you boil the water? People gonna say, well, that's why you gotta get you a generator. That's BS too. Or people might have charcoal. That's cool too. But charcoal is no good within a few hours. Well, just like I showed here, just get you some sticks, pieces of wood. You can literally do this for free. Just go in the backyard or any kind of field and start collecting. And you can heat up water, to make it safe for use if needed, if the water's contaminated, at the same time the power is out. Or let's say you're able to go to a creek or a pond, that's somewhere in the field, a natural body of water. You don't just want to drink it and use it. You can boil it, to kill off those harmful bacteria and microbes. You can do all that with, just sticks. The most you might have to buy or keep at hand would be, maybe some lighter fluid, maybe some gas. But even alcohol can be used to start a fire. Now, there's other tools and devices like a flint starter where you can strike stone and wood to get some sparks to make a fire. But yeah, even alcohol can be used to make a fire. So these are the things that's principle for a man's life. So this is something for us to remember. So our people don't bug out and get bent all up out of shape when there's no electrical devices, no social media, going to hang out, no joyriding, the vehicles ain't working. These are the these are the things, that a man need in his life. And fire is relatively easy to start and to maintain, especially when you start the fire the way the Lord intended it, with pieces of wood, not no charcoal. That's going to be burnt out in a few hours. All right, so we're going to continue to the book of Isaiah, chapter 10 to 20. It shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, being the elect, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, who smote us, who's oppressing us. He saw even the so-called white man. So those of us that actually make it out of here to receive that salvation, we're not going to lean on our oppressors anymore, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, the truth. So we will no more lean on our oppressors, but we will start to lean on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. And this is how it has already started by coming into this truth. Being heavily invested in this truth. We leaning upon the Lord right now. While the others of our people, they're gonna want to lean on the Lord when our hell is breaking loose. No, we already leaning on them now by trusting in the word and trusting in the doctrine. Which will prepare us and make the way for our escape. All right, so now we're gonna go to the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16. We're gonna hit verse 40. Oh, my people, hear my word and make you ready to die battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So yeah, that's why might do a couple videos on off the grid living. Like last night did one on how you could easily make a toilet situation outside when the water go out, when there's no power. Because it's gonna be people that's gonna lose their mind about not having a restroom working. Just take it outside. That's why we're doing one now on how you can make the best fire you ever had with sticks and other chunks of wood. A little bit of, gas, lighter fluid, alcohol, anything that's flammable to get the water going. To cook or even to heat up water that's contaminated. It got microorganisms in it. You ain't got to rely on no expensive generator or whatever else Esau is telling you to get, because those generators fail too. So yeah, be pilgrims upon the earth, and it's maybe beneficial to know how to utilize the things of the earth, and not that it matter. You can know how to do all this stuff, and if you're not a the elect, you're not gonna make it. But we're gonna go to the book of First Corinthians, chapter 7, verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth, that both they that have wives be as though they had none. This is going to being a pilgrim. You have things, but you're not attached to it to the point where you love these things more than the Most High. And they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, as being a pilgrim, not only physically, but in your mind. You know, you're not moved. And they that buy as though they possess of not. So you already count all things as a loss. And they that use this world as not abusing it. So how do you use the world but not abuse it? You know, we just here maintaining. You know, we don't love the world, we just make use of it. You use the world, but you're not attached to it. You don't love the world nor the things of the world more than the Most High. Because the Lord said, if you love the world or the things of the world, the love of the Father is not in you. For the fashion, the ways of this world passeth away. So your conveniences, first world privileges, that stuff passing away. The days of having a designated room called the restroom for a toilet inside of a house. The days of having an electric or a gas oven with buttons and knobs that you can twist and turn. You know, the days of using electronics and relying completely on Esau's grid. That's passing away. So get with the program and and depart from this place. You know, flee the shadow of this world. Because, you know, just think about how many people go get the RFID microchip just because they want some hot water. Well, we see a cheap, natural way to heat up water to hold us over until the salvation. You know, how many people gonna get the RFID microchip because they don't want to use the restroom outside? Well, we talked about ways last night that you could make a restroom situation outside to hold yourself over until that salvation come if we of the elect. Because because you know, people not gonna just get the RFID microchip just because they can't buy or sell or just because they hungry. No, people gonna get the RFID microchip for the dumbest of reasons. You know, they've been going through it. People gonna say, man, I just want some water to wash my clothes so I can take these dirty clothes off, and they gonna go get the chip. That's because they carnal. But yeah, the fashion of this world passing away. So yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, charcoal is just sticks and chunks of wood that's already pre-burned and packaged and sold to you. Charcoal is literally pieces of wood. So we could start stacking up on sticks and branches and pieces of wood right now. You know, have it somewhere where it won't get wet. It can already be pre-dried out for you, so it can start a fire, you know, kind of quickly. So yeah, this is part two of off the grid living. And now I look through my phone, see what else I can come up with, you know, for any tips. Lord willing, it was edifying. Till next time, shalom.